Buffalo beats the 49ers 35-10. Another one of the worst losses of the Kyle Shanahan era. Two of the worst losses have come over the past 2 weeks. This two-game gauntlet into cold weather for the 49ers has gone absolutely disastrously. First, a 28-point loss to Green Bay, and then today, a lot of the same story. Maybe even worse than last week. Buffalo, the week after Green Bay, had 125 rushing yards in the first half. Buffalo had 142 rushing yards in the first half. So the 49ers defense completely inept, completely unprepared. Yeah, it looks like Nick Bosa was holding this defense together by himself, because without Nick Bosa over the past 2 weeks, and then extend that to the second half against Seattle, the 49ers defense might be the worst in the entire league. I mean, that's how bad it has been defensively. They gave up before Buffalo went to Mitch Trubisky in their backups. The 49ers gave up nearly 7 yards a carry and over 7 yards per play in a blizzard. I mean, that can't happen. These are conditions that should be favorable to a defense. And Buffalo just made a complete mockery of the 49ers defense. So when we talk about retooling, the 49ers may just have to blow this up defensively. If you're so reliant on Nick Bosa and on Fred Warner being healthy, obviously Fred has been toughing it out with a broken ankle, it's not a good formula. It's not a sustainable formula to have success. And they need it today to have that defense give them a fighting chance at the start of this game, because it was a snow game and they didn't have Josh Allen. They didn't have a 6'5", 240, 250-pound tank to be able to guide them through insanely bad lake effect conditions. The defense had to do something for the 49ers, and they didn't. Offensively, they started this game out running the football. I think Ben Barch gave them a big boost at left guard, was opening up some nice holes for the 49ers. But the Christian McCaffrey injury, and I'm about to head into the 49ers locker room, as you can tell, I'm here in the tunnel at Buffalo. The Christian McCaffrey injury really seemed to shell-shock the 49ers. They were executing fine before then, and then it was the play, I believe, where he was about to bust free for a touchdown, got tripped up by the last line of defense, and when that happened, Christian McCaffrey slammed his knee into the ice-cold turf, and the very next play, he just slid. He realized that knee wasn't handling the pressure of the run the way that he wanted it to, and he decided that he was going to give himself up. It was definitely a disconcerting situation for the 49ers. They suffered a delay of game penalty on the very next play. You guys can see there's actually snow coming through, a snow removal truck coming through the tunnel here in Buffalo. It's very, very crowded. So anyway, very next play, Christian McCaffrey checks himself out of the game, doesn't return. Doesn't seem like it's related to the Achilles or the calf. It is a knee issue from slamming onto the turf, but I'm going to find out more when I enter the 49ers locker room here in just a few minutes. Everybody is holding their breath, not just for Christian McCaffrey's availability this season, but in the future. He's battled through so much. He's such an important long-term fixture of this 49ers team. It's something that we're going to keep a very close eye on. Fred Warner, too. I mean, he was dealing with cramps today. We already know he's been playing through a broken ankle. 49ers going to have some decisions to make. They're now in sole possession of last place in the NFC West, which means that they're staring up at a very, very difficult battle to get back into true contention with only 5 games left. And with that being the case, you're going to have to take a long, hard look at how do you use Christian McCaffrey moving forward, even if he technically is able to return this year? How do you use somebody like Fred Warner, even if he is technically able to keep on going? The wear and tear that the 49ers have suffered over the course of, or endured, I guess I should say, over the course of the past 4 seasons now, since we're deep into this 2024 campaign, is staggering. I mean, 60 games over the 3 seasons entering this one, that'd be difficult for anybody to endure, physically, emotionally as well, with the Super Bowl losses and the NFC Championship game losses. Well, that's added up, and then the in-season losses here in 2024, and also the in-season drama, the in-season strain of there's been tragedy, there have been near-death experiences. You talk about the incident with Ricky Pearsall. Charvarius Ward obviously came back today, first game off of bereavement leave, and he had a very tough game for the 49ers. There's been so much that has accumulated for this game. The got the Billy Buffalo mascot trying to get into the YouTube live. That kind of shocked me back there. I was like, whoa, what's going on? But there's been so much that has accumulated, and obviously it's come crashing down for the 49ers here. Their season of hell moved to the North Pole today. I mean, it was visually spectacular to watch coming out of the press box, but definitely miserable for the 49ers to have to suffer through on that field. Josh Allen might win the MVP. I think he might deserve to win the MVP. Wasn't that sick, that play? The lateral from Amari Cooper, tossed it back to Josh Allen, dove over the goal line. I mean, California kid, grew up a 49ers fan, was definitely built to succeed relative to other quarterbacks in this type of snow. You look at Brock Purdy, he had one of those typical, we've seen it in every single wet weather game that he's played. He's good for at least one of those passes that slips out of his hand. And I don't know if he's going to have to move to a glove in these types of games moving forward or not. But Purdy was far from the top of the list of the 49ers problems in this game. In fact, there was a point there where they were down 28-10, but had they actually made their 2 field goals, and I get it, it's tough for Jake Moody to make field goals in the snow, but had Kyle Juszczyk not fumbled at the goal line, which was a play that I thought was very, very emblematic, very representative of the 49ers season, where they have struggled to finish both offensively and as a team, and Juszczyk fumbled it at the goal line. Had that not been the screw up that it was for the 49ers, and had Moody made his 2 field goals, it actually would have been those were 13 points. It would have been a 5-point game. And you look up and it's 28-10. And then, well, yeah, the 49ers were not going to come back from that. That's when Brock Purdy had the ball slip out of his hand. And we can talk about the glove moving forward in future wet weather games for the 49ers, because it has been a recurring issue. Even in Minnesota this year. In week 2, when it was really humid inside, there was that one weird play where the ball just slipped out of Brock Purdy's hand. And I do think that had something to do with the moisture in that building due to the humidity at the time. But I thought Purdy actually came to play. I mean, you look at what the 49ers have been working with. There was Kyle Shanahan this year. I've talked about him not having his fastball. There was a 4th down before Josh Allen's diving touchdown on the lateral where it was wide open spaces for Josh Allen in a snow game. Right, the conversion shouldn't have been that easy. When is the last time that we've seen Brock Purdy and the 49ers offense have an easy pitch and catch with no defender within 5 yards of the 49ers receiver? The 49ers have the lowest average separation at the time of completion or attempt in the entire NFL, whereas their defense has given up wide swaths of ground over and over and over again. That's a massive, massive disadvantage to play with. But then you toss in the deadly giveaways, and those deadly giveaways, of course, have put the 49ers in a position where they're looking at 18-point deficits, 3-possession deficits in the snow in Buffalo that you're not going to come back from. So that was the story today. Quick update on Christian McCaffrey. It is a PCL injury. That is a knee injury, and it could indeed be season-ending for Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to head into the 49ers locker room to find out more after their season of hell moved to the North Pole here in Buffalo. 35-10, the Bills beat the 49ers. We will talk to you very soon.